not sure how to motivate your students to put effort into their learning? Students think if it takes time to learn something, or if they really have to think about it, then that must mean that they're not smart. They don't know, and we don't tell them, that in order for learning to stick, we need to feel uncomfortable. The truth is, easy learning equals easy forgetting. If we want to motivate our students to put effort into their learning, we need to start by telling them learning is uncomfortable. And then teach them about the brain and how it learns, along with the strategies for how to put effort into learning. So exactly how do we do that? The best strategy to help students get comfortable in the struggle of learning is to teach them how to grapple. When we grapple, we wrestle with concepts and information to understand them and spend time practicing actively recalling the information from memory to prove it stuck. Introducing the strategy of grappling can be pretty simple. Start by empathizing with your students because we can all relate to how uncomfortable it can be when we're learning. You could share an example of a time when you had to work hard to learn, or even just a statement like, "I wish learning was easier than it is." Then tell them that you have a strategy that can maximize how their brains learn so they can work smarter and the hard work will actually pay off. Ask them if they'd be interested in finding out how to do that. Show an image, something like this, that shows that the brain is made up of neural pathways that are all connected. Every time we learn something, a neural pathway for that information is formed, and that's how we get smarter. The first time we learn something new, the pathway's a bit sketchy. It's like a rough hiking trail that isn't well marked. You're not exactly sure where to go. You end up off the trail and having to find your way back. It's not easy. That's what it's like when we first learn something. There's gaps in what we know, and we make lots of mistakes because we haven't gone over the information enough and grappled with it long enough for our brains to make a clear path yet. So we need to go over the information again and in a different way to build a more solid pathway, like a sidewalk that has a clear direction and is fairly smooth to walk on. We create strong pathways when we grapple, wrestle with the information, and make it our own. When you are learning, instead of just memorizing or rereading, actively think about what you know and don't know, and organize the information in a way that makes sense to your brain. As we do this repeatedly and in different ways, we build superhighways for the information and concepts. These strong neural pathways ensure that the information is stuck in our brains and that we'll be able to remember it whenever we need it. So that's why we want to grapple, because we need to create a bit of friction and feel a bit of discomfort for our neural pathways to fire and build strong pathways that make the information stick for as long as we need it. When students understand how something benefits them and they have a straightforward strategy to try, they are much more likely to feel motivated to do it. I could go on for days about how to equip students to learn more deeply and meaningfully, but instead, I'd rather you tell the next student that you encounter that learning is hard, and that's a good thing. If you've been wondering how you can transform the culture of learning in your school or classroom, let's connect, and we can brainstorm ways to future-proof your students for the world of tomorrow.